After days of speculation, Donald Trump makes big gambles for his brand new administration. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and I hope everyone is having a great day. I am having a great day myself, and before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and of course, join the channel today. Again, these are all great ways to support the daily content, but enough of the promotional stuff, let's get into it, because Donald Trump is building up his cabinet, and I would argue before like 2 to 3 days ago, there weren't really any big surprises. Like, there were some big names like Marco Rubio, Stefanik, hell, even Elon Musk. And I know these are big names, but you can argue they're not really the biggest surprises. Like, of course, Trump was going to pick Elon Musk for something. Same thing with Ramaswamy. And Marco Rubio and Stefanik, they're not really the biggest surprises. Like, I was not expecting Rubio to be Secretary of State. But when you think about it, it's not really that crazy. And you could argue the vast majority of these picks outside of like maybe Tom Homan, they're kind of safe. They weren't the biggest gambles. They were kind of expected or just, kind of safe. But that really changed 2 to 3 days ago when Donald Trump announced his Secretary of Defense. And this came out of complete nowhere. Like, I don't think a single person on earth could have predicted this. Trump picked Pete Hegseth. Yeah, the guy from Fox News to be the Secretary of Defense. This came out of nowhere. Not a single person thought, oh yeah, Trump was going to pick Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary. No one thought that was going to happen. Hell, I was streaming when this was announced, and I was stunned. I was like, wait, what? Who? Pete Hegseth? And I remembered, oh yeah, the guy from Fox News. And if I'm being completely honest, before 2 to 3 days ago, I really knew nothing about him. Like, yeah, I saw him on Fox a couple times, but that's it. I know nothing about the guy. And I actually did research on him, and I'm surprised to say that I actually like this pick. And I know that sounds crazy because it's a guy from Fox News being the defense secretary. I know that sounds crazy, but the more you think about it, it's like, wait a minute. This guy makes perfect sense for a bunch of reasons. And I know people are going to say, but he doesn't have the experience. He was not in the army for 70 years or something crazy like that, which that's true. But this idea that, oh, well, he had no experience whatsoever, that's bullshit. He was in the army, and I believe he won the Bronze Star like twice. So this guy does have experience in the army. It's not like this guy never served and just out of the blue, he's the defense secretary. No. He actually did serve. And let's be honest, we need new blood in the military leadership now. For crying out loud, the idiots that run the military right now are utterly worthless. They have done nothing good. I mean, for crying out loud, Afghanistan was such a shit show that most people just forgot about it. But do people remember how bad that was? This military is ran by idiots, and we need change ASAP. And that's why I think Pete Hegseth is a good choice. He's new blood. It's something different. And on top of that, he has said repeatedly, we have to fire the top people in the military, which I think we have to. These people are utterly worthless. They're incompetent. They have no clue what they're doing. And I mean, I don't know why they're still here, but he's right. These people gotta go now. They are doing nothing positive for us. They have to be fired ASAP. And that's what Hegseth said we have to do. And that's why I think he's a really good pick. The more you look into it, it's like, wait a minute. It's fresh blood. It's someone that actually has experience. It's someone that understands, hey, the leadership is utterly worthless. These people got to go now. It's a perfect combination. I really think this is a really good pick by Trump. And I know some people are going to say, but it's a very unorthodox pick. I get that. It is a big gamble. I am not denying that, but I really do think this is a very solid pick by Trump overall. Now, there are some questions surrounding him, like, could he get confirmed? We just got to see, but I think Hegseth is a good choice. But you could argue, this isn't even Trump's most controversial pick. Yeah, that's right. The guy that was on Fox News like 2 days ago, who's going to be the next defense secretary more than likely, is not the most controversial pick. There's some other ones that are way more controversial. And of course, that includes Tulsi Gabbard. Yep, it is official. Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence. If we're being honest with ourselves, it's not the biggest surprise that Trump picked Tulsi. Now, it is kind of a surprise that he picked her for Director of National Intelligence. I thought it was going to be something foreign policy related, but she is the Director of National Intelligence. And I know some people are going to say, well, Tulsi Gabbard's a former Democrat. She just became a Republican like 2 months ago. She's a fake and a fraud. She sucks on the issues. I understand there are concerns surrounding Tulsi, but her track record, even when she was a Democrat, wasn't that bad. Especially when it came to things like foreign policy, freedom of speech. She's always been good on those issues. Now, there's some issues like guns and energy and stuff like that she's been not the best on, but that doesn't mean she's bad on every single issue. She is phenomenal in stuff like foreign policy, and I really believe that she had a change of heart. And you could argue that the only reason she was as progressive as she was, well, she was in Hawaii. And that's the most Democrat state in the country. It's not the biggest surprise that she's a progressive. And you could argue a lot of that was because, yeah, she was in a very Democrat district. She had to be that progressive to win. But now in recent years, she's been shifting more and more to the right. Now, that doesn't mean she's going to become a far-right Republican, but it just means that certain issues she has been shifting towards the Republican Party on. But she still is good on stuff like foreign policy. She's against endless wars. She is in favor of freedom of speech. She wants real reform. And I think Trump picking Tulsi Gabbard here is a good pick. And that's because Tulsi Gabbard wants actual reform. She wants to go after these corrupt agencies. So I think putting her as DNI makes perfect sense. I think it's a very good pick. Now, I still thought Secretary of State made the most sense, but to be honest, I don't think she would have ever gotten the votes anyways as Secretary of State. Even as DNI, she might have a big problem getting the position. But at the bare minimum, it's a big position. It's a job that's actually worthwhile, not some random ambassadorship to some random country no one ever heard about. It's no, you're the head of national intelligence, and you have the opportunity to actually clean it up. That's why I think she's actually going to do her job and not backstab Trump like some people suggest she's going to magically do. Because she's put in a position where she can actually bring change, and she supports reform. She wants to end this crap. And so putting her as the DNI makes perfect sense. Now, will she get the votes in the Senate? That's a bit questionable. I know a lot of Democrats hate Tulsi Gabbard because they claim she's pro-Russia, she's pro-China, all that crap. It's like, just stop. She's not an agent of Putin. That's garbage. But there are questions surrounding her. Can she actually get the votes? Which is very tricky to tell because she's very controversial. People don't really like her. But at the same time, it's not like it's Secretary of State or something foreign policy related, which I really believe if this was Secretary of State or something related to that, she would have zero, and I mean zero chance of being confirmed. Just the simple fact that every single Democrat, including probably the majority of Republicans, they would vote against her. Democrats would say she's pro-Russia, and then the Republicans would say, oh, she's too dovish. She's anti-war. We need someone that's pro-war in that position. That's just the sad reality of it. But I do think with this being Director of National Intelligence, it is much easier for her to be confirmed than, say, Secretary of State. But despite the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is super polarizing, like, a lot of people don't like her, she's not even the most controversial pick as of now. And of course, the most polarizing pick as of now, and this could change, is Matt Gaetz. I could safely say this came out of complete nowhere. I don't think a single person thought that Matt Gaetz was even in consideration for anything. I don't think a single person thought he was going to be in the administration, not just for some random position. No, for Attorney General. Yeah, Trump has nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Like, Tulsi Gabbard being picked, that's not a big surprise. Pete Hegseth, it's kind of an out there choice. But you could argue maybe because he served in the military and he said a lot of things Trump likes, maybe he was going to be somewhere in the administration, maybe a lower position. But Matt Gaetz? I don't think a single person on earth said, yeah, Matt Gaetz will be in the administration, not just in some low-tier position, but as Attorney General. In fact, I didn't even know that he's a lawyer. I never even knew that, but he was. He actually has legal experience. I never knew that, but he does. And Trump picked him for Attorney General, and I am in complete shock that this is real. I really thought this was fake news, like, wait, Matt Gaetz? Come on, that's obviously fake. There's no way Trump was going to pick Matt Gaetz. I thought he was going to pick Bailey from Missouri, a very good Attorney General. But no, he actually picked Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General, and I'm just shocked by it. And to me, the only reason Trump picked Matt Gaetz is he wanted someone in this position to blow it up. Just as an FU pick to the establishment, and someone that's going to go to the DOJ and actually clean it up. That's what this pick, it really seems like. Just an FU pick to the uniparty, to the establishment. I'm in charge here, and I'm picking Matt Gaetz. And he's going to be a wrecking ball in the DOJ. Now, this is by far the most controversial pick. I mean, of all the people we've talked about, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Gaetz by far is the most controversial pick. And he's probably going to be the most controversial pick of Trump's entire administration. That could change, but right now, this is the most controversial pick as of now. And there's a bunch of reasons why it is. For starters, it came out of left field. Like, no one thought Matt Gaetz was going to be Attorney General. No one did. Everyone thought it was someone like Bailey. But that's not really the biggest issue. Like, okay, it's a wild card pick. No one predicted it. Kind of like Pete Hegseth. But what makes this even more shocking is it's Matt Gaetz. We're not talking about some random backbencher Republican that does nothing. No, this is Matt Gaetz. I think virtually everyone knows who Gaetz is. And he is very polarizing. You either love this guy or hate his guts. And even then, on Capitol Hill, the majority of Republicans probably hate him for what he did to Kevin McCarthy, even though I really believe that was the right move because McCarthy was useless. Matt Gaetz, he was the one that got rid of McCarthy. And that pissed off a ton of Republicans. Like, he was already on the hot seat. But after that, everyone lost their minds. They said, this guy sucks, he's incompetent, get him out of here. And that's why it's going to be very difficult to confirm Matt Gaetz. Like, Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard, they're difficult enough. Like, you got to convince enough Republicans to vote for some guy that has no experience, or in quotation, no experience, and Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democrat, who, by the way, has very controversial opinions. But at least you could argue no one really hates Tulsi Gabbard or Pete Hegseth. Like, they may disagree with them, but you can't really say anyone at Capitol Hill really hates Tulsi Gabbard, at least on the Republican side. Same thing with Hegseth. But Matt Gaetz is different. There are a ton of Republicans that despise this guy, especially in the House, which thankfully he does not have to worry about the House for confirmation. But even then, a bunch of Senate Republicans do not like Gaetz whatsoever. They don't trust him. They think he sucks. And it becomes a big question mark as to, can Matt Gaetz be confirmed? And honestly, I don't think he has the votes. And it's not just, oh, he got rid of Kevin McCarthy, that's why we can't vote for him. Though I do think that's probably the biggest reason. They just don't like him because he got rid of McCarthy. The thing with Gaetz is, he's very controversial, he's very conservative, he's very America first, and there's a lot of allegations surrounding him, which I'm not going to get into because I think a lot of it's BS. But some Republicans might be scared to vote for him because there are some real bad allegations that if they are real, it's not good for him whatsoever. But the crazy thing is, despite the fact that I don't think Gaetz has the votes to become the next Attorney General, or I have questions surrounding Pete Hegseth or Tulsi Gabbard in their respective positions, I do believe, despite that, all three of them will actually be in their positions. And I know that sounds crazy, but there is a legal loophole the Trump administration is probably going to use. And that's called a recess appointment. It's a very complicated thing, but effectively, Trump could put Congress into recess, and he can ram through Matt Gaetz as Attorney General without a vote, without any questions asked, and that's it. He's Attorney General, which, if he does that, at least for people like Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard, it would be a very controversial move. Like, it could either backfire horribly, or it could work out perfectly. There's no in between. It's a very risky thing by Trump. It's a big gamble to put Congress in recess and then say, hey, Matt Gaetz, you're Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard, you're DNI, Pete Hegseth, you're Secretary of State. But I do think if they don't got the votes for any of them, I think Gaetz is the most difficult one. I do believe Trump is going to force them through anyways. Just say, well, too bad. you're on recess, and I can appoint Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. It's very risky by Trump, but it could actually work, and it might be the only way for Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard to actually get in, through a recess appointment. We will see what happens, but listen, this is a big gamble by Trump. Putting someone like Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard in their positions. It's very risky, and I did not expect Matt Gaetz at all. This still just shocks me. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.